Welcome to College App Help Desk. So I really feel it's important for students to see this screen and understand this part of the process, because essentially what we're doing here is we're working backward from the answer key. What you're seeing is a sample student. This is not an actual high school student. This is an IEC like me who set up a profile so that we can show students what it looks like on the back end when admissions officers are reviewing your application. So what you see here, top of mind, is everything about you: your name, your high school, your weighted and unweighted GPA, your test scores, your class rank, if your high school does that, and how many AP courses you took. Now, down here in this box, it's going to show the curriculum rigor of your high school. So if your high school offered 19 AP courses and you only took 3, this bar is probably not going to come across as far as it is right here. It also takes into consideration your dual enrollment, your gifted classes, and if you are an AP scholar with distinction, things like that. Okay, so here's all of the information on your school. And this shows when you applied. So this student in this case is early action, and this is the program, the department, when the application was submitted, whether or not you waived your rights to view your letters of recommendation, which I absolutely encourage you to do, whether or not you have a fee waiver or one was requested, and the test policy. So the ACT was submitted, but the SAT was not submitted. Down here, we call these flags. These are, is the student a first generation? Was there a fee waiver? Is the student a recruited athlete? Is the student a legacy? Is the student an international student, a transfer student? And did the student apply early action? So those are just some of the flags. Different schools may have different flag options in this box right here. We're going to come back to this reader note here. This is why I give you the assignment to write your own soundbite rather than admissions officers writing your soundbite for you. I want for you to write your soundbite so that it's showing up and guiding every corner of your application. Down here, this is your honors and awards. They're listed, and these are the activities from your activity list. Now, the activity list that you're working on with me is much more robust because it's going to turn into a resume, and it's also going to go to your teachers writing your letters of recommendation. But this is where it's been shortened for your Common App, and I will help you with that. So let's just look up here on the left-hand side. This is the dashboard. I just showed you the overview of what they're going to see. But this on the left, as you dig down, this is where you can get a little bit more details. Here's the school history. There's one other student from his high school who's also applying. These are students who have applied in the past, and you'll see that not all of them were admitted, what their ratings were. And then this column is interesting, whether or not that student enrolled. So these schools are keeping really detailed statistics on your school, who's applied to that school, etc. This is your high school profile. They're going to know a whole lot about your high school and what was available to you, whether or not it was a college prep high school, all of those things. They're going to have easy access to your transcript. Some colleges will recalculate your grades. They may take out the non-core classes. For example, if you're in a private Catholic high school, they may take out your A from religion class and only calculate your GPA from your core classes. Here's your letters of recommendation. And if you do not waive your right to these letters, they may not even consider them. So I encourage students to waive their rights for that reason. And then here's your Common App. This is where you have filled in all of the pages of your Common Application. Once you create your Common App account, you will be able to print this PDF out. Let's go back to this dashboard. I want to show you one other thing. Here's where the admissions officer evaluates what it is that they're seeing in your application. So up here, we have academic and personal ratings. What are you involved in? They're going to look at your essay. Hopefully you're jumping off the page in your essay, and that's what helps make you memorable and also turns an admissions officer into an advocate for you. So here's the qualities that this school is valuing: intellectual curiosity. Am I finding that in this student? Service to others and community impact. Am I finding that in this student? Collaboration. Am I finding that in this student? Consistent engagement and leadership and initiative. So here's where this evaluator, this admissions officer, is going to leave comments and add notes for the committee. This is where the reader notes are going to show up. And then the overall recommendation: admit, likely admit, take it back to the committee, wait list, likely deny, or deny. So this person will make their overall recommendations. And then look, every school is different, but most schools, the admissions officers will take it back to the committee and they'll make their final decision there. So when you're filling out your application, it's important for you to keep all of this in mind, because it's almost like a job interview. You know in your head everything about you, but this person is only going to spend somewhere from 5 to 15 minutes on the high end reviewing your application. They don't know you. They're only going to know you by what you show them. And if you're not showing them, they're not going to weigh it in, because they're not going to spend the kind of time that I'm spending with you, getting to know you, working with you one-on-one, talking about the things you do. That's the problem in this process, is this is probably the most important job interview you've had to date. And you really have to show them, not tell them, who you are, so that they can make a very quick evaluation. They're going to spend a lot of time in your transcripts. They're going to look at what kind of a student you are. Look, I don't think the essay is going to get you into college, but the essay can turn an admissions officer into an advocate for you, assuming that all of this other criteria matches what they're looking for in a student. So I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment if you have questions or you want more explanation. This is not my account. I am not an admissions officer, so I can't really answer specific questions about what admissions officers will do, especially at specific schools, but you can always reach out to your admissions officer at that school and ask those questions.